Have you ever wondered who truly drives evolution? The individual, the species, or something far smaller? In The Extended Selfish Gene, Richard Dawkins takes us deep into the world of genes, the real power behind all living things. First published as The Selfish Gene, and later expanded, this groundbreaking book revolutionized the way we understand life. Dawkins argues that evolution isn't about the survival of individuals or species, but about the survival of genes. Every living being, whether a human, a bird, or a bacterium, is essentially a temporary vehicle built by genes to ensure their own continuation. Through this powerful idea, Dawkins shows how behaviors like cooperation, competition, and even altruism can all be explained as strategies used by genes to replicate themselves more effectively. In The Extended Selfish Gene, Dawkins goes even further, explaining how the influence of genes extends beyond the body, shaping environments, societies, and even cultures. From a beaver's dam to human technology, our actions are seen as part of a much larger genetic story. This book doesn't just change how we view biology. It challenges how we see ourselves. It invites us to question free will, purpose, and the true meaning of evolution. Before there were people, before animals or plants, there was only chaos. A young Earth 4 billion years ago, oceans of chemicals beneath a fiery sky. No life, no purpose, just matter, energy, and chance. Then, something miraculous occurred. A few molecules began to do something unheard of. They started to copy themselves. These were the first replicators, ancestors of every living thing. They weren't alive, but they could replicate, and that changed everything. Sometimes copying went wrong, tiny mistakes called mutations. Some helped the molecule survive and copy faster. Others failed and vanished. And just like that, evolution began, driven by variation, competition, and natural selection. Over time, replicators built protective shells, early cells, tiny survival vehicles designed to keep their creators safe. From there, cooperation emerged. Single cells formed colonies. Colonies evolved into complex organisms, and eventually, creatures like us. Dawkins offers a radical truth. Evolution isn't about the survival of species or individuals. It's about the survival of genes. We are survival machines, robot vehicles blindly programmed to preserve the selfish molecules known as genes. Every emotion, every instinct, love, fear, sacrifice, is an ancient genetic strategy to keep those molecules replicating. When a bird feeds its chicks or an ant dies for its colony, that's not morality. It's genetic strategy in action. So when we ask, why are we here? Dawkins' answer is breathtakingly simple. We are here because a molecule learned to copy itself and never stopped. From that moment to this one, life has been a story written by genes, each of us a new chapter in their endless quest for survival. Key takeaway: evolution acts through the selfish interests of genes, and we are their most remarkable creation yet. Imagine this. Every living creature on Earth, from the tiniest bacterium to the tallest tree, from a honeybee to a human being, is a machine, a gene machine, built not by conscious design, but by billions of years of genetic competition and cooperation. Inside every one of our cells, millions of genes work together, silently, tirelessly, shaping our form, behavior, and destiny. Each gene carries a message that has survived an unbroken chain of copying, stretching back to the dawn of life. They are the true survivors, the real immortals. But here's the fascinating paradox Dawkins reveals. Though genes act selfishly, they do not act alone. They've learned that survival often depends on teamwork. Within a body, genes form alliances, cooperating with thousands of others to build an efficient survival machine. They shape eyes that see, muscles that move, and brains that think, all to ensure one purpose: that the genes inside are safely passed on to the next generation. In a way, our bodies are temporary containers built to protect and transport the genes, just long enough to help them copy themselves again. So while each gene is selfish in its drive to replicate, their cooperation creates the incredible harmony we see in life. A lion's power, a bird's flight, a flower's color, all are results of genes working together toward their shared interest, continued existence. And this cooperation extends far beyond individuals. In bees, ants, and other social species, genes even promote behaviors that help relatives survive, because those relatives carry copies of the same genes. It's as if the genes know helping another body that carries the same blueprint can be just as valuable as helping your own. This idea transforms how we see ourselves. We are not independent beings acting for our own sake. We are survival machines, carefully constructed by genes that have been perfecting their strategies for billions of years. Our instincts, emotions, and social bonds, love, loyalty, fear, even morality, can all be seen as sophisticated tools shaped by evolution to keep the genes replicating safely. Every heartbeat, every breath, every act of nurture or competition is part of a much larger genetic dance that began long before humans ever appeared. So when you look in the mirror, remember this: you are not just you. You are a living collection of ancient messages, a remarkable machine built by genes for genes. Key takeaway: organisms, including us, are beautifully engineered vehicles, crafted by genes for their own survival. The body is mortal, but the genes within are timeless. In nature, every day is a struggle for survival. From the fiercest predators to the tiniest insects, every creature competes for food, territory, and the chance to reproduce. But as Richard Dawkins reminds us, this battle isn't chaos, it's strategy. Evolution doesn't reward random violence or endless peace. It rewards balance. To explain this, Dawkins turns to a powerful idea from mathematics: game theory. It helps us understand how different survival strategies evolve and stabilize in nature. He introduces the famous hawk-dove model. Imagine a world with two kinds of animals: the hawks, who always fight aggressively for resources, and the doves, who avoid conflict and back away from danger. At first glance, you might think the aggressive hawks would dominate. They win more battles. But Dawkins shows that too much aggression has a cost. Hawks often get injured or waste energy in endless fights. On the other hand, a world full of peaceful doves doesn't work either. They're too easily exploited. So what happens? Nature finds a balance, a stable mix of both behaviors. Sometimes aggression wins, sometimes peace pays off. But overall, evolution favors the strategy that maximizes gene survival, not just individual victory. This balance between competition and compromise shapes life across the planet, from animal behavior to human society. But Dawkins goes deeper. He asks a profound question. Why would any animal ever help another, even to its own risk or death? At first, that seems to go against the selfish gene idea. Yet, nature is full of cooperation. Bees die protecting their hive, birds warn others of predators, and ants give their lives for their colony. So why would selfish genes allow selfless acts? The answer lies in one of the most powerful concepts in modern biology: kin selection. Dawkins explains that what looks like altruism is really gene-level strategy. An individual may die, but if that sacrifice helps relatives who share the same genes survive, those genes still win. For example, when a bee sacrifices herself to defend the hive, she's protecting her sisters, who carry nearly identical copies of her genes. By saving them, she ensures that her genes live on, even if she doesn't. In evolutionary terms, the bee's death isn't a tragedy, it's success. This is the selfish gene in action, not selfish in emotion, but in outcome. Genes that promote behaviors increasing their own replication, whether through self-preservation or family protection, will always spread through generations. Cooperation, then, isn't a moral choice of parenthood. They feel like the most human of instincts. But beneath these emotions lies a powerful evolutionary logic. In the extended selfish gene, Richard Dawkins reveals how even our most tender relationships are guided by the hidden hand of our genes. Every parent, whether bird or human, faces the same ancient question: how many offspring should I have, and how much should I invest in each one? To a gene, the goal is simple: to make as many successful copies of itself as possible. But resources like time, energy, and protection are limited. Invest too little, and offspring may not survive. Invest too much in one, and others might never exist. This delicate balancing act is known as parental investment, one of evolution's most important strategies. Dawkins explains that every species develops its own version of this strategy. Some lay hundreds of eggs and hope a few survive. Others, like humans, have fewer offspring, but devote years of care to each. Neither approach is right or wrong. Each is a solution to the same problem: how to ensure genes live on through the next generation. And then comes another evolutionary battlefield: the battle of the sexes. Male and female genes often want the same thing: reproduction. But the best way to achieve it can differ dramatically. In many species, males can reproduce with little investment. Their strategy is often to spread genes as widely as possible, quantity over quality. For females, however, reproduction is costly. Eggs are fewer. Pregnancy and nurturing take time and energy. So, females evolve to be selective, choosing partners who show strength, health, or desirable traits that increase their offspring's chances of survival. This constant push and pull between male display and female choice is what Darwin called sexual selection. Dawkins shows that even the most beautiful and extravagant features in nature, the peacock's tail, the lion's mane, the songs of birds, are not accidents of beauty. They're genetic advertisements designed to attract mates and outcompete rivals. These displays may seem wasteful, but they signal fitness, a hidden message that says, I am strong enough to survive even with this burden. Humans, too, are part of this pattern. From the way we look, speak, or fall in love, much of our attraction and behavior is shaped by the same evolutionary logic: the drive to pass on our genes to the future. So, behind every act of care, every partnership, every display of beauty, lies a timeless mission written in our DNA. Genes use family, love, and reproduction as their most powerful tools, strategies honed over millions of years to ensure their own survival. Key takeaway: reproduction and family life are not accidents of emotion. They are elegant, gene-driven designs for one purpose: to create more copies of life's eternal code. Nature is often seen as a battlefield, survival of the fittest, where only the strongest win. But Richard Dawkins reminds us, survival isn't just about fighting, it's also about cooperation. Across the animal kingdom, we see it everywhere. Monkeys grooming each other, dolphins hunting in sync, wolves sharing food. Why would one creature help another if evolution is all about selfish genes? The answer lies in a brilliant idea called reciprocal altruism, the principle of "I'll help you if you help me." Dawkins explains that helping others can still serve the selfish interests of genes, as long as cooperation is repaid over time. If one individual helps another today by sharing food, warning of danger, or defending against a predator, and receives similar help in the future, both benefit. In this way, cooperation becomes an evolutionary strategy, not a moral one. But there's a catch. What about cheaters? Those who take help but never give it back? Here's where another concept enters the story: game theory, and specifically the prisoner's dilemma. In this model, two players can either cooperate or betray each other. If both cooperate, both gain. If one cheats while the other cooperates, the cheater wins big, but only once. Because over repeated encounters, cooperation breaks down and both lose. In nature, as in life, cheaters might win short-term battles. But in the long game of evolution, trust and reciprocity win the war. Those who cooperate with reliable partners and punish or avoid cheaters build stronger networks that ensure survival for generations. This simple rule, "help those who help you," forms the foundation of complex social behavior. From animal alliances to human friendships, from trade to teamwork, our sense of fairness, gratitude, and even morality can be traced back to this ancient logic. When we share, trust, or repay kindness, we're echoing the same evolutionary strategies that have been successful for millions of years. Reciprocal altruism shows that cooperation isn't the opposite of selfishness. It's actually a clever form of it. By working together, individuals increase their own chances of survival. By trusting wisely, they build stability and protection, both for themselves and their genes. So, from grooming monkeys to human societies, cooperation is not an act of charity. It's a strategy of success. Key takeaway: evolutionary cooperation is a smart survival tactic, a timeless deal between living beings. I'll help you if you help me. After exploring how genes shape life, Richard Dawkins takes a bold leap beyond biology into the world of ideas. He asks, if genes are the units of biological evolution, could there be something similar that drives cultural evolution? His answer gave birth to one of the most influential concepts of modern thought: the meme. A meme, Dawkins explains, is a unit of cultural transmission, an idea, a tune, a fashion, a phrase, anything that spreads by imitation. Just like genes replicate through reproduction, memes replicate through communication, passed from mind to mind whenever we teach, share, or copy. When you hum a song you just heard, quote a famous line, or wear something because it's trendy, you're helping a meme reproduce. But here's the fascinating part. Memes evolve just like genes. They compete for attention, mutate as they spread, and only the most fit ideas survive. Some memes spread because they're useful, like fire, writing, or mathematics. Others survive simply because they're catchy, a melody, a joke, or even an internet trend. Whether it's a religion, a political idea, or a viral video, memes are constantly battling in the vast ecosystem of the human mind. Dawkins' insight reshaped how we understand culture. He showed that evolution doesn't stop at DNA. It continues in our words, art, and beliefs. Our civilizations, our myths, even our sense of identity are built from countless memes competing and combining, just as genes once did in the oceans of early life. From ancient legends to modern TikToks, memes are the cultural genes of humanity. They shape what we think, how we live, and who we become. Key takeaway: ideas evolve just like genes, through imitation, variation, and survival of the fittest. In his final and most profound idea, Richard Dawkins expands evolution's story one last time. Beyond the body, beyond the organism, into the world itself. This is the extended phenotype, the concept that a gene's influence doesn't stop at the skin of its host. Take the beaver, for example. Its genes build teeth and muscles, but they also build instincts. Those instincts drive it to cut trees, move branches, and construct dams. The dam reshapes the entire landscape, slowing rivers, creating ponds, forming ecosystems. In a sense, the dam is part of the beaver's body, a physical expression of its genes, reaching out into the environment. The same is true for a spider's web, a bird's nest, or even a parasite that manipulates its host's mind. These are not random acts. They are genetic strategies, manifestations of genes working through behavior to alter the outside world. Dawkins argues that the true boundary of a gene's power isn't the body. It's everything it can influence to help itself survive and replicate. And what about us? Our homes, our machines, our cities, aren't they too extensions of our genetic instincts? From stone tools to skyscrapers, from art to algorithms, human creations can be seen as part of our extended phenotype. The genes that once built hands to shape stone now express themselves through minds that shape the planet. We are not just products of our genes. We are their voice, their reach, their ongoing experiment. Dawkins' final message is awe-inspiring. Genes don't just build bodies, they build worlds. Every dam, web, nest, or city is a ripple of genetic influence, a reminder that life's true architects work quietly, invisibly, within every cell of every living thing. Key takeaway: the reach of genes extends far beyond our skin, into our behavior, our environment, and our culture.